Look at the light outside of my car from the sun. Nothing to celebrate going on my face this time, but there's a lot of light out there. It's almost as if my car is being abducted by aliens, right? You know, the light beam that comes down to, you know, bring the person, the person up to the ship. Mindful Monday, right? Have you ever experienced a time when you're in like a social situation, you're talking to somebody, right? And then all of a sudden, well, for starters, you're like not receiving anything that they're saying. But then all of a sudden, you kind of start to like become aware. It's like you start like waking up to your surroundings. And it might actually be startling, right? It might be like, right? And then like all of a sudden you like remember that you are human, right? You're like, oh my God, a hand, right? And you start to like come back to yourself, right? You start to feel a little bit more present in your body. It's actually happened to me that, and this was scary. I was driving down the highway. I was actually taking an exit to go onto a highway, and all of a sudden it was as if I had woken up without ever having been asleep or fallen asleep, like actually sleeping, like with eyes closed. No metaphor there. And so I learned about what that was, and I think that it has something to do with dissociation. But when you start to wake up from dissociation, right? You're having a conversation with somebody and you're just completely checked out. Like, you don't give a fuck about anything. Your mind is completely in the past. You don't have any, like, whatever they're saying is going in one ear and out the other. It's not sticking, right? You're thinking about things that you never processed from the past, you know, family members that you may have lost, friends that you're not, you know, friends with anymore. You're just dissociated. You're mentally somewhere else, and it's actually very challenging to be present with your body. It has actually happened to me multiple times, what I was just saying about, like, driving and, like literally, like, when it happened to me when I was driving and I was taking the exit to go onto the highway, I was literally just, like, it's kind of like a, like, oh shit, where am I kind of thing, right? I would argue that to an extent, that's like waking up from dissociation. Dissociation is wild, right? Being totally checked out. You're just there, right? You're not receiving anything. You're not, you know, nothing. You're just totally caught up in the past, right? And you're not really aware, you know. And when that has been how life has been for so long, right? Like, I look at my own life and I look at the dissociation that I've experienced and just how many things I've been through. And, like, just, like, looking back, like, it's literally just, like, my mind is just repeating a photo album over and over and over again of different things, some good, some bad. And actually, because I learned the other day that my mind actually has a tendency to filter out good experiences and only show me bad experiences, a lot of the things tend to be negative, which I can imagine probably leads to, you know, something like anxiety and depression. I've been there before. I know what anxiety and depression feels like, for myself at least. You know, and that's the thing too that's really fascinating about all these different experiences: dissociation, anxiety, depression. I don't think that it's a cookie cutter one size fits all thing. I think that these experiences for everyone are actually individually unique, and that's the fascinating thing about it. But when you start to wake up from dissociation, at least in my own experiences, I awaken to a bigger space of awareness, right? I become more aware of my surroundings and everything. It's kind of wild. Like, it's like that moment where the person is in therapy and I remember an episode from the show Mr. Robot with Rami Malek, one of the most interesting shows I've seen. And he's in therapy, and the therapist is like asking him about himself and everything. He's clocked out. He's completely checked out. Phenomenal actor, by the way. And I think the question ends up being from the therapist something along the lines of like what's going on with your life, right? Like how are you feeling? What's going on? And he kind of like goes into dissociation where how he wants to react is basically being like, fuck society. This whole place is a shit show. Everyone's fake. No one knows what they're doing. Everyone's just wearing a fucking mask, right? But then when he wakes up from it, he's kind of just like, what? Yeah. I'm fine. Everything's okay. So it like cuts back to that and everything. And just like dissociation, that's what it is. Like, you don't really give a fuck about anything. You're not there. You're not grounded. But when you start to wake up from dissociation, it's like main character vibes. It's like you're waking up from a fucking drunken slumber of not knowing what the fuck is going on. It's nearly as good as, the childhood from which you still didn't know what was going on, Dissociation is fucking crazy. It really is. It's a wild experience. It's complete. I mean, no, it's the opposite of complete. I'm talking from my own experiences. Dissociation is like complete disconnection from self and others, and it can be very scary. And the other thing too is that if you're not aware of it, like if you're not aware that you're dissociated, if you're not aware that you're completely clocked out, like you're just checked out, and just like everything is a fucking carousel. It's a merry-go-round, like one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing. It's like you're totally fucking numbed out, and life is just punching you in the face over and over and over again, right? And you're just taking it. You're just like, this is what life is supposed to be like for me. This is how it works. Hi everyone, I don't know who you are, I don't even know who myself is, what is all of this, right? Right? Dissociation is just like this state of disconnection from yourself, and you cannot be connected to other people if you're not connected to yourself. So that's why it is experienced in a way of just like, it's like you're drunk, you're tipsy, you don't know what's going on, and everything is just like, just like over and over again. You're just walking around through life, just like, right? It's like this state of just like disconnection. I think that disconnection really sums it up really well. But when you start to awaken from that, it's just a wild experience, because like when you actually do start to awaken, like the people that you talk to, you're like, holy shit, you're here, you're real. Holy shit, I'm here, I'm real. Holy shit. And then you just start to become more aware of the space around you and everything, and things just really start to change in a very powerful way. You start to feel more connected to yourself, then with that, others as well. You can feel your feet on the ground, you can bring your energy back to yourself, and you can feel it in your hands and your fingers. You can breathe and just, wow, feel alive for potentially the very first time ever in your life.